you know, the whole reason for being for Tasso is giving everyone better access to critical diagnostic information. We're really focused on patients in that journey because, you know, the difficulty that a lot of people have in just accessing standard lab tests that are used in over 70% of medical decisions or used in these research type of settings to develop better knowledge of disease states, better treatments, potentially cures. All of that starts with the simple fundamental, how do you actually access that blood sample? And so for Tasso, we're building products and services just to make that easier. And we're really could not be more excited to have the opportunity to work with the Parkinson's Foundation on what is a really critical really critical area of need. And so overall, I think that's where our missions really align, is how can we give patients better access? How can we, extend research programs and make it easier for them to complete their aims? And how can we fundamentally work towards empowering and making health a little bit more accessible for all?
We have a paper that's recently been accepted in a major journal that should be coming out soon. And that will provide a nice update of where we are with about 8,000 participants to date that were part of the analysis for their genetic background and participation. This is in conjunction with another large genetic study, largely in Europe. But I think it helps to really understand what are common genes for Parkinson's disease and being tested across a broad population of those living with Parkinson's. So I think that's going to be really exciting as part of that. And then what I think is going to be really critically important is our ability to use this Tasso Plus device in order to collect blood and to start whole genome sequencing. We're working with a large consortium of geneticists who are focused on Parkinson's disease, and they're incredibly excited to be able to get on their hands on these de-identified DNA sequences to really hone into the genetic underpinnings of Parkinson's disease. Again, this is really an advancement that wouldn't be possible without a device as simple and easy to use as the Tasso device.
It's hard to express how unique and sort of differentiated that blood draw experience is with Tasso. Seeing patients and trying to compare to something like a finger stick where you have to, sit there and prick your finger, or, have a venipuncture draw, which is a big needle. All of those are very, very, scary, very intimidating processes. So just from an ease of access and ease of completion, Tasso is just a revolutionary way to collect a blood sample. It's something that is so different from anything else that has existed that after people use the device once, we get a 95-96% rate of people saying, yeah, not only do I want to, or am I willing to do this again, but I want this to be the way that it's done for all of my blood tests, for all of my blood samples. And so really calling out the fact that this is a differentiated experience. And as people have used the device and have experience with it, it is that sort of experience that carries forward. So I think that's a really important one. And then the other is we're actually running a similar program, and incredibly excited in general to help support all like these sorts of patients and these sorts of agencies. But what we found in prior work, which we're excited to bring into the Parkinson's Foundation as well, is just from the outset at a research study, this one group said, would you prefer doing a venipuncture or this Tasso device, even with patients just walking into the door? And there was a 6-fold greater response rate for Tasso than any of the traditional blood draws methods. And so just in terms of helping to increase awareness, increase access, and make it easier for patients to join, we find these sorts of data really to help drive forward critical research and critical programs. So again, incredibly excited for the work we're doing together with the Parkinson's Foundation. It's really important work. And I think that together we can really drive and make a big difference to patients in this community.
It's particularly important for our community. People with Parkinson's have a movement disorder, and being able to use a lancet that the finger prick, it's a spring, it's got a high tension to it, trying to push it and be able to really actuate that is not easy to do. We asked our Parkinson's community, what their experience would be with the Tasso kit. We deployed it to several members of our people with Parkinson's Advisory Council, and they really found it super easy to use. They found it nearly painless, and as Ben said, really an easy experience for them as part of that. And so that's really helped seal the deal to ensure that this is the way to go for us. Geographic diversity is incredibly important. There's so many people with Parkinson's in the United States, over 1 million of them, and they're all not in big cities. And so being able to reach out to them through PD generation to where they live is incredibly important. But also, some of our sites that are involved in PD generation, the clinic sites, they don't necessarily have a phlebotomist available, or that they're busy clinic. Having the Tasso device on hand for some of these sites is really easy. Helps for the process. I mean, you get a sufficient volume of blood to do the testing that we need to do as part of the process, and it's just been, I think, a really, again, easy experience for our patient community.